We are in the midst of a churning economic storm, never before experienced in our lifetime. People are crashing financially, fearful of their future. Some unsure how to survive, others wondering how to thrive. As a renowned economic forecaster and best-selling author of 8 books, Harry Dent Jr. offers a refreshingly positive and understandable view of our economic future. He is dedicated to helping people understand the changes occurring and committed to helping you chart a course to achieve the financial security and prosperity you desire. Harry Dent received his MBA from Harvard Business School, where he was a Baker Scholar, and then worked with Bain & Company as a consultant to Fortune 100 companies. For over 20 years, he's been building businesses, researching, writing, and speaking to executives, financial advisors, and investors around the world. Harry Dent appears regularly on CNN, CNBC, and Fox News, and has been featured in major business publications such as Entrepreneur, Forbes, Fortune, Business Week, and the Wall Street Journal. It is now time for you to get ready for the future that is before us with one of the world's most accurate economic forecasters.
Hi, I'm Harry Dent. I've got some very important information for you. Something that's going to greatly impact your life, your business, your investments over the rest of your lifetime. Things we can tell you and project today. This decade is going to be the most difficult and challenging you're going to see in your lifetime. Our economy is going to be worse than you're being told by the leading economists, politicians, and experts. I'm here to show you how to increase your income in this time and to protect your assets. I'm going to give you a clear view of what is going to happen in the next 10 years so you can be ready for it and take advantage. In other words, we're looking at strategies for you to thrive in a difficult period when most people won't. I am called an economist, but I didn't start as an economist. I started in the real world of business consulting. I got my graduate degree from the Harvard Business School, specializing in business strategy. I worked at Bain & Company, one of the top consulting firms in the entire world to major corporations, as a business strategy consultant, helping them to see changes in their industry, changes in trends so they could stay ahead of their competition. But I wasn't satisfied with working with larger companies because they just didn't move fast enough. They didn't have that entrepreneurial spirit that I so valued. So I started doing the same type of consulting to entrepreneurs and new ventures. And it was from that real world business and consulting, understanding how the new baby boom generation was changing trends, understanding the new technologies, how they were changing trends and opportunities in businesses, that I actually stumbled on some of the greatest economic indicators in history. Our first major book was The Great Boom Ahead. Now, a lot of people didn't see this coming, but in the early 1990s, we saw this entire boom. Even back then, we forecast that starting around 2008, we would see a downturn in the U.S., a global downturn that would last from about 2008 through 2020 to 23. We saw that over 2 decades ago. So why should you listen to me today? Pay careful attention. I am independent. I don't represent anybody. I have my own firm. We look at the things we found to make a difference in the economy. We're not liberal or conservative. We're not bullish or bearish. Yes, my first book was The Great Boom Ahead, but my recent books in 2008 were The Great Depression Ahead, and in 2011, The Great Crash Ahead. So we just call it as we see it. If you go back to the late 80s, basically people were saying that Japan was going to overtake the U.S. economy, and they were buying all our real estate. We said, no, Japan's the top of their economic cycle, and they're going to see a 12 to 14-year downturn and a major crash. Nobody saw that coming. In the early 90s, we said, oh my gosh, yes, we're in a recession in the United States, but we're just about to see the greatest boom in history because our baby boom generation, unlike the Japanese, is going to be coming into their peak spending years of growth, buying the most houses, all these things that actually drive the economy. In 2005, At the top of the housing bubble, we said, hey, housing's bubbling and it's going to crash. People think real estate can never go down. We've studied history. It's already gone down 60% in Japan. It's gone down in major cycles before. We saw this downturn. And what we have to warn you today, something very important. Do not believe economists. Do not believe the government and politicians. You can't even listen to Warren Buffett. And I hate to say that because he's the greatest investor perhaps of all times. But they don't understand the economy. We've warned from the beginning that we were going to see a meltdown, and we saw that in 2008, early 2009. But we also warned that you can't prevent this downturn with stimulus. We've had the greatest debt bubble in history, and we'll go into that briefly. You can't cure a debt bubble by adding more debt. Stimulus just pushes the crisis down the road and makes it worse. So here's my message to you today. The next decade is going to be the most challenging, difficult decade in your lifetime. Now, here's the good news, and something that the smartest people have always understood. There's a reason that 1% of the people in our economy control approximately 50% of the wealth right now. The top 1% are the entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial business people, and the best investors. They love change. They thrive on change. They welcome it. They understand that life is about change. Everybody else is in la-la land. They want to just kind of work hard, get better, 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 and then go to heaven. That's not the way life works. When the economy gets challenging, businesses start to fail. New innovations crop up. This is the landscape for entrepreneurs. I'll give you a glimpse here of how you can see your future, the economy, the key changes over the rest of your lifetime with simple tools. I'm here to show you how to increase your income in this time and to protect your assets. Number one, our economy, how it booms and busts, is a very simple matter. Oh, there's a lot of things that happen with oil prices and government policies and stimulus programs, but there's one simple thing that drives our economy in modern times. People entering the workforce, getting married, having kids, advancing in their careers, buying houses, doing all these predictable things. There's a magic number for the economy in demographics, and that's what I specialize in. Age 46. Why 46? That's when the average household in the United States and most countries in the developed world spends the most money in their entire lifetime. Let me give you an example of how simple the economy is in the best economic tool I ever innovated. It's called the spending wave. It's simply a 46-year lag on the birth index. So, for example, the baby boom generation creates bubbles and stretches the economy. At every age, they do different things. Some people call it like a pig moving through a python. The baby boom was born 1937 to 1961. If we put a simple 46-year lag for rising spending on that generation, we get a boom from 1983 to 2007, and then, of course, with the baby bust, or Generation X as some people call it, we get a downturn. Fewer people spending, fewer people borrowing, fewer people buying houses into 2020-23 bottom, and then the next great boom after that when the next generation comes along. We can look and tell you where there's going to be growth and where there's not over the rest of your lifetime with one simple indicator. It's that simple, and you can see these trends. Now, this isn't just a global macro thing. Our economy booms and busts on this 46-year lag. Every different sector of the economy is impacted, and people spend money in different areas at different times of life. Let me just walk over a few simple examples. We've got 600 categories of spending we can quantify over people's lifetimes by the Consumer Expenditure Survey in the United States, one of the great things our government does. People enter the workforce at age 20. That's when they start earning and spending money and contributing. They get married on average. Now remember, we're quoting the average person. You may be different. On average, people get married age 26. That's when they form households and really start spending. That's when people start building retail stores and shopping centers. Age 28 is when the average household has their average kid, and that really starts driving the cycle. Everything's about the kids after that. Age 31, a few years later, they buy their first home. Age 33, they'll be spending the most money on child care if you happen to be in that business. Age 37 to 42, the kids get older. They want more space. You want to be on the other side of the house for them. That's when people buy their biggest house, when their kids are basically in junior high and high school. Age 46, that's when people spend the most money and when their kids tend to be getting out of high school. Age 50 is this peak spending on automobiles. And when people's kids tend to be getting out of college if they go to college. Now, this is important age because when a household hits age 50, especially when there's two earners, the husband and the wife both working, one of them usually wants to now drop out and move into something more fun or part-time. So this is a great time for these people to start their own part-time business. And it's a lot of women that do this. Age 54, when people kind of like travel the most, furnish their house, doing entertaining. They fix up their kitchens and bathrooms and stuff like that. Age 58 is when they buy the most life insurance and do the most financial planning for people listening in that industry. So life insurance is still going to boom ahead as our economy busts. Health insurance booms, peaks at age 68. But you know what? Healthcare spending overall continues to grow. It's the one sector as the large baby boom ages that's going to continue to grow for decades. It's not till age 78 that people spend the most money on pharmaceuticals, vitamins, and supplements as they age. And it's not just people's age that drives the economy. It's their social interactions. People learn, people experience, people innovate, and it's how they communicate and share that with other people that causes innovations and adoption of new trends and products and services. Unemployment going to be 15% minimum, not the 8% in the U.S. now. Of course, it's already 25% in countries like Spain and 10 to 12% across Europe. That's going to make it hard to get jobs. It's going to give a great incentive for people to start their own businesses and generate new streams of income. The worst part of this is coming. The worst part of the winter season is when the banking system has to kind of melt down and we have to write off all this excess debt and all these asset prices have to fall. Now, that's good, though. Home prices coming down is good for business and households. Cost of living going down. Healthcare inflation stop spiraling. This is all good long term. But detox is probably the most painful thing that can happen, but it's the only way to get back to balance and normal and grow again and be healthy again. Another thing we're going to see. Remember I said about that $42 trillion in private debt? There's a bigger number than that. In the United States, Medicaid and Medicare, Social Security, those promises are unfunded by $66 trillion by private estimates and some as high as $82 trillion. What this means, plain and simple, you're not going to get all the benefits you were promised. The older you are, the more likely you're going to get it. The more normal income you are rather than high income, the more likely you're going to get it for a while. Nobody down the road, especially younger people, are going to see these retirement benefits. In this winter season, we're going to have to radically restructure the health care and retirement entitlement systems. So again, the winter season eliminates debt, brings back affordability. Weak businesses fail, strong survive, and new businesses emerge. Entrepreneurs thrive in environments like this. Change equals opportunity. Disruptions, businesses failing, creates opportunities for you to move in and fill those niches and fill markets they leave. Demographics change. What's going to be the biggest demographic in this downturn? The aging baby boomers. They want to lose weight. They want to be healthy. They don't want to look old. They want to look young. They want to live longer. They want to have an active life. This is the strongest demographic ahead, while the whole economy's melting down because these same baby boomers stop spending and buying houses and cars. They're going to be spending money on retirement, financial services, health care, and wellness, things to help people prepare for a longer life and live it more dynamically. Older people like all types of conveniences, telecommunications. How can you learn more? How can you communicate better? Adult education. Alternative energy. Everybody's trying to save energy and save on energy costs. You've got to listen to the experts and people who can tell you what's really happening. You've got to look at the real new changes that are coming in industry, and you have to act. Entrepreneurs act. They don't wait for everybody else to do it and prove it. So what is the solution? Create your own business, part-time at first. Create multiple streams of income and build it into your own full-time business and maybe have a number of businesses. My company actually is a number of businesses that are related, but different businesses. There are a number of ways you can start your own business. Some of the most popular are internet-based businesses, franchises, and network marketing. Network marketing is one of the easiest ways to become an entrepreneur, to start and control your own business with a minimum of startup cost and commitments. This is something you can start part-time and build. People in the network marketing industry ask me, what do you see about our industry? What are the pros and cons? We're going into a downturn. Is that going to be good or bad for us? I say it could be very good for this industry for one reason. Job security, pensions, retirement benefits, healthcare benefits are all going to be squeezed. People are going to feel insecure, and they're going to be looking for ways to augment their income or to start their own business so they don't have to depend on companies or governments who've promised a lot of stuff they can't deliver on. I see network marketing is a good thing. You can have your own business. You have an organization with proven products, proven marketing support and systems, so you don't have to create all that. Only a very small percentage of people really have those rare Steve Jobs type of talents because they can start a whole business from scratch. Most people, entrepreneurs, need to plug into a system that they can leverage. So the good news is, in a time of disruptions when most people are confused, dazed, paralyzed, businesses are melting down, if you're just awake, if you're listening to people like me and many other great experts, it'll tell you, here's what's really happening, here's the real opportunities, here's what makes people wealthy, here's how the top 1% operate. See, my whole goal here is to make you think and act like the smart money. The 1% of entrepreneurs, the 1% of investors that make the most money. These people don't typically have the highest IQs. They just look at things directly. They're not in denial about change, and they welcome change, and they act on it. So, what are the key factors for success? Especially, say, you choose network marketing. And you say, gosh, what's so good about this? I'll tell you the biggest advantage to me, low startup costs. But if you choose network marketing, here's the first thing I'd say to you, and look at the history. Get out of the get-rich-quick mentality. I remember back in the 1980s being approached by a lot of people in network marketing. The thing was, oh, you know, I turn on my friends, and then you turn on 10 of your friends, they turn on 10 of their friends, and we're all going to be rich. Well, that doesn't happen. The people who do well in this industry, and my wife and I know many of them, they build a real business. So the first part to that, look around, find a product or service that you can understand, that you apply in your life, and that you can truly believe in. Demonstrate the results in your life and then demonstrate that to others. You've got to believe in what you're marketing to do well in this business. After that, know your product or service. Know it cold, up and down. Know how to apply it. Don't just tell people, well, take a whole bunch of vitamins, you'll be healthier. People are different. Vitamins are different, for example. You got to learn how to apply this to people, how to bring that kind of personalized service. That's what makes the difference. You got to understand, if you're selling directly to consumers, you are competing against growing new internet models. You're competing against direct mail. They don't have that personal and social touch, but they can give a lot of information, and they often have lower prices. So make sure you're differentiating yourself by providing excellent customer service and that personalized consultation. You got to see yourself as a personal consultant. That's the one thing you have that other direct selling methods don't tend to have. Next, a whole part of network marketing is to get people under you, downline distributors and users. Well, go for people who are serious. Look, we want people that want to build a business. Part-time at first if necessary, and ultimately, hopefully, full-time, that you can grow and grow and grow. And you've got to support those people. You've got to invest your time and some money in training and educating and motivating those people. And finally, you're selling products and services through social relationships. What differentiates you? Well, we've got this whole revolution in social media that takes it beyond just your local contacts and a local business. You should be able to reach people around the world. Be a serious business. Invest in your people and in yourself. And again, the key is we're talking about a decade where you're not going to be able to make money investing in bonds or stocks or real estate like we did in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Invest in yourself and help people learn how they can invest in yourselves. That should be your mission. So here's my summary to you. Just like any good business, and even though things will always change, you've got to have a 10-year plan or longer. Now, where are you going to be in 2023 when the next great global boom starts? You need to have a strategy for winter. Strategies for a world turned upside down. Deflation instead of inflation. Bust instead of boom. Deleveraging of a debt instead of growing borrowing. So you're going to have to go against a lot of things economists and your parents have told you, like buy a house, best way to build equity and wealth. Work for a solid company for life. Get as high a degree as you can. Stocks for the long run, you can't go wrong. And in bad times, gold will be as your hedge. We argue against all those things. The biggest thing, plug into an existing system. Again, time to start your own business. When times get tough, entrepreneurs go to work. We're about to see the most challenging and opportune economy of our lifetime. This should be your boom ahead. Forget the economy. Just because the economy goes down, as we said earlier, some industries boom more. The smart people do better than ever. Entrepreneurs have always thrived in downturns. So here's my summary advice. Forget about retirement. I don't care if you're 30, and especially if you're 60 or 65 or 70. Retirement basically is kind of a fantasy. I travel around the world, third world countries. Nobody retires. They work until they die, and if they have health care problems, their family mostly takes care of them. Healthcare, retirement emerged in the 30s and 40s, partly a way to pull out of the Great Depression and encourage older people to retire so young people could get jobs. And back then, people lived more into their 60s. Nobody thought that if you retired at age 63, which is the average age today in the United States, you're going to live to 86, and some people in their 90s. You can't work for 42 years and then goof off for 20, 25, 30 years at the public's expense. This is a fantasy. People should be retiring at age 75 today if we just adjusted our health care and retirement systems for life expectancy since they started. So forget about retirement. This is the opposite of what you're told. Everybody thinking, well, how do I do this so I can retire? How do I get a little high returns for retire? How do I work a little longer? No, this decade, if you understand winter, this is the decade to work harder than ever. Keep your job if you have a good job. That's a stream of income. Start businesses on the side. Network marketing, a great way to do that, is one example. Build every way of cash and cash flow you can. Build your wealth, build your cash flow and income during this winter. Then, 2023, 10 years from now, in your 10-year plan, now you say, now I can do what I want. I've made money in the downturn when most people were struggling. I did the right things. I'm one of this 1%. Now you've got choices. 2023 on, you can retire if you want. You can have more of your business on automatic, more residual income to live off of. You can still be involved in your business, inspiring, motivating, hiring people in it. Or you can just decide, I'm going to travel around the world, or I'm going to get re-educated and do something new. Or the best thing I've seen people do, take your wealth. Don't give it to your kids. Give them enough to start a business. Give them enough for a good education. Start your own foundation and save the world in some way. And when you're on your deathbed, you've got nothing to apologize for. You can sit there and think, all the people you helped get through this difficult decade, all the people you helped start their own business and create wealth, and then with your wealth, all the people you helped in some type of charitable way. So this is my advice to you. See this as a time of opportunity. Most people are going to see it as a threat. They're going to be deer in the headlights. They're not going to know what to do. We can tell you exactly what to do. Start your own business. Do it seriously. Do it step by step. Don't think it's going to be overnight success. But on the other hand, understand you're going to basically be shooting fish in a barrel. Most businesses, people are going to be struggling so much. The opportunity is going to be far more than you think if you have your eyes open and you accept the reality of this downturn instead of being in denial like most people, and you're sitting there waiting to act, waiting to turn everything possible into cash and cash flow. If you do that in the winter season, deflation in prices, the fall in assets, the decline in businesses, the rise in unemployment works in your favor. And again, if you're out there recruiting, people are going to be very, very insecure in their job prospects, in their pensions, retirement plans, health care benefits, and they're going to need ways to generate extra income and start their own business. So that's my advice to you. Start your own business. Take advantage of this winter season. Make it the best season of your life. Make it your great boom so you can then do whatever you want 10 years from now in the next great global boom. Now that you've heard the information I provided, it's really your obligation now to share this information with others, to help them see this winter season coming and to see the urgency for them to start their own business and to increase their streams of income. Thanks for listening.